Well, it's still going on this morning. Still driving by. It's craziness. Last night, I re-emailed the sheriff's, oh, and Officer Reinhardt, and the Department of Justice. Um, there is, last night, some guys drove by screaming, those people are acting like they're FBI and they're not. Yes, they are. I went back in my apartment and, later on, some guys walked by my apartment. Now, my apartment's small. You could hear them echo into my apartment. You sure she never hurt anyone? He's like, yes, they framed her before. Some mob lord said he liked her. They're trying to extort money out of him. He said he doesn't like her and he don't care what happened to her, and they're coming at her hard. They had said a mob lord was taking care of me. No mob lord take care of me. They can have young and beautiful. They're all part of it. It's Judge Pete is undercover police, and apparently in it with a mob lord. Drugs, kidnapping, rape, torture, abduction, chipping, illegal surgery. There was a man that followed me around that, if you look on Facebook, looks like Henry Moffey. He was in Bedford. He was at Lake Milton. He was in Canton several times driving by me. I don't know who he is. Okay. There was an older white man. If you go to Walmart, probably January, February of 19, he's a white man with a baseball hat, older white man, horseshoe earring. He's even by the underwear aisle staring at me. He'd been around me several times. They had said he was part of a gentleman's club from Florida. If you go to Wood Forest, January of 19, I don't think it's into February of 19. They'll still have the tapes. I go to pay off a payday loan for Dave. Always recount my money because money sticks. And there's a guy behind me with another guy. If she works for me, she'll put that money in her pocket and walk off. I don't do those kind of jobs. I don't know him. He was around me several times also. I told you Walmart 62 is a cesspool of officers staying out of gunshot nights, leaving me in high danger after I almost got shot in the head driving. 6 stalkers. One of the Walmart, it shouldn't be before January of 19, should be in 18. They'll still have it. I go to do a night drop. Part of the 25,000. Strange hired me. White man, gray hair, hazel blue eyes. There was, and he said he wanted to see me. He was in Grinders in Minerva, and they thought it was funny that the waitress sat me by him, and they're talking about how they're going to kill him, rape me. And that Dave had told them how they tore up my shoulder. You can get all these people. It's ridiculous. Yeah, ridiculous. They did interview my whole family a long time ago in 18. They said they spoke highly of me, and several witnesses under tape and audio knowing it. And they did catch Melissa's kids lying, Thanksgiving of 18 to Flora, that they were making everything up. And then they told the apartment building for me, second one close to the fence, those kids, they were lying. And their mother testified for me that she knew Dave drugged me first. And then 1295 Fairlawn Middle apartment, little white lady screamed at him right for May 25th. And for the church people breaking in before drugging me, telling me to say word on molester stuff. Then Wendy's crew talking about it in front of Jeff and a bunch of people in town, and Jeff told Jim and Brian that he heard it and it was too dark for him. Right after May 25th, I was sitting outside Jeff's apartment on a Sunday afternoon. A blue car with that heavy set blonde girl that was part of it came down, and some of the goons were sitting down at the end of Fairlawn Street. Yelled it out. Are you crazy? You can't enter a drug confession. Well, we just found out they drugged her and told her to say it before. I swear this is a case of incompetency. No man's come talk to me about anything dirty. Nothing. No one did. Nobody interviewed me. You want to talk about illegal surveillance then? I mean, you can't just go in and set up cameras and watch somebody. They can't even do it to drug lords. They can send somebody in undercover. They can watch them outside in a van. But they can't set up cameras and watch them inside. It has to be under murder, treason, stuff like that. And then it can't have a conflict of interest. And they can't be bedrooms, bathrooms, no nudes, and they can't share. Everything throws it out. Judge Pete and his goons doing that, and then breaking March 2nd to the 3rd. They're going to put 2 clips together and put me in a porn. From simple wiping off water, they said they put a shower scene on it. Yeah, and then other people knowing they were altering it, and then even bragging when they walked by my apartment, when he erased my part out of it. Then other people knowing that all those tapes before were them, not me. Including December 9th, there was a bald man at the Hunger Task Force. Came out and said it makes my stomach turn seeing her in a place like this. We always knew the tapes before were them, not her, so we never said anything. Then Ed at it should be 4805 Cleveland Avenue, Oakland Apartments. He had made fun of me for the tapes before, and that was nice to my face. 4 o'clock in the afternoon, he's on the phone, he's got his head turned from me. Those tapes before were them, not her. Wow. What's going on? It's a group of men doing as many crimes as they can to see if someone will actually stop them. Well, a few days later, I'm sitting out in my vehicle. I see some of those trucks from Ravenna, and I'm shaking. These people have tortured me, raped me, abducted me. I'm literally shaking. An older African-American man came up to Ed right outside my car. I found out what's going on. None of this is funny. He said, I know. I already told him those tapes before were them, not her. And it's a bunch of men down here doing crimes. It is. It's a rogue judge. Judge Pete. And a few of the rogue undercover officers. In it with a mob lord. No, like I said, I don't know who the mob lord is. Yeah, but those guys saying they're trying to extort my hand, yeah, they'll never give him money. They're just part of it. But yeah, they had a second apartment building for mine on North Chapel. There's wood steps that go up. 2 nights ago, this big, huge 6-foot guy, 250 pounds, coming at me. I'm going to take care of her before they find out to link it back to us. I already gave Karen's will that confession tape before. I never talked to anybody. They'll find out what's going on. They had already been the toxic water people and everything else. They weren't allowed in my home. No judge can give an attorney friend a court order. It has to be police and higher significant, like murder, espionage, treason, because the right to privacy kicks it out. It's illegal surveillance. Then you put a conflict of interest for personal gain for Judge Pete's daughter. Memorial Day weekend 2019, food counter in Walmart, all white woman, African American man, screaming it out. It's for my daughter, her husband dates. He met her in Ravenna when she was having a stomach spell. It's for my daughter. They did all this for. And our family down here watching her doing this. It's them doing it. And for who scares rich boyfriend but the state of Ohio who protects her? Everybody said I had a rich boyfriend because the legal department's following me around grabbing stalkers. None of this is funny. Nobody likes dirty cops and a dirty judge in it with a mob lord trying to kill their victim and frame their victim. They have no right down here. They have no right around me. They have no right in my home. And like the officer from Louisville, they had no right in your home. We can't look, we can't listen, anything before the FBI. It's illegal surveillance. I said, but they said that. I was like, I don't care. I said, they said they drugged me and told me to say something. I don't care. We can't look, we can't listen. It's illegal to. They had no right in your home. And I talked to Nomad. He had black and blue marks before the FBI. Had them all over me. I thought it was. From moving wood to find out Dave was drugging me and the church people. Like the guy said walking by my apartment last night. Are you sure if she never hurt anyone? He said yes. They had framed her before and some mob lord said he liked her and they're trying to extort money out of him and he said he didn't care what happened to her and he's not interested and they can do whatever they want and they're coming at her hard. He was just part of it too. I told you. We're all part of it. Somebody needs to stop him because what's going to stop him from doing to the next person? Nothing. These people will rape you. They'll put it on the internet. Sold a login to a real estate case that started September 28th, 2018. They even talk about it in Walmart. The agents are selling the login for money, $25 a pop. Wasn't the agents. It was the dirty undercover officers making money at my expense. And then everybody had it. They even sold the login to the neural chip. Even a little kid had it. When I went over to say something to that woman, she wasn't home the night before, or a couple nights before. She looked down at her phone and said, oh my goodness, she's going to say something to the lady. She said, I know, nobody finds this funny. They sold the login to everything to dehumanize me. And they want me in trouble for their crimes and run around threatening me. That's how stupid this is. Somebody said a colonel from that army base is involved. And I did have several of the guys from the army base around me and some of the bad cars that yell mean things to me. They can't hurt you either. They can't touch you. It's illegal to. But they sit on the front of the army base. And it's childish to say bad cars. But when you don't know who's in those cars and they drive by yelling stuff at you, what are they? They're bad cars. Someone needs to get down here and fix this. I told you, the one bald guy with a red beard, December 16th or 18th of 18, Bob Evans showed up. Bald guy, red beard, 200 pounds, 6 foot tall, slumped down in his seat with a blonde lady. I'm Karen Sandler. Those are my men. These are the boys. And I'm a psychiatrist. They're actors. They didn't have a badge. They're actors. Now, white-haired man that was part of the so-called handler man was at Wendy's before December 9th of 18. Dixie witnessed. of the other big men standing by the pop station. Give your jewelry back. I said, give your jewelry back. All of it. And he had to go get my pop. Because they were blocking the pop station, yelling at me while I'm holding this brand new little baby. And there's a hit on her life. Wouldn't hurt her. Anybody. Matter of fact, I almost died to save people. And it pisses the hell out of me. Pisses the hell out of me. I almost died to save my family. Trying to keep them out so they go after me and not them. I could have gave Dave one ring to cover the $5,000 to $7,000. I gave him $18,000 in jewelry back, hoping to stop. That white-haired man, when I went to leave, grab her straw, grab her straw. We don't get it this time. We'll get it next time. We're going to build a case without her. You can't build a case without the person of interest. No man ever questioned me about anything. And they were breaking in, stabbing me with needles. And they already caught those kids lying on Thanksgiving of 18. Staying on the floor. We're making everything up. It's games to pretend. There's real cases. And they already caught their mother telling them a lie. And they interviewed my whole family. And they spoke highly of me. It's documented and other people knowing of it. That's how stupid this is. This is their permanent plan to do away with me. Teach me a lesson I never forget. Had a permanent plan to do away with me. This is it. They left me alone for 11 months. 11 months. And I couldn't figure out, why do you go from trying to shoot somebody? You go from having stalkers, gunshot night, people claiming they lost family members, to leaving her alone. They were waiting to attack again. How do you get away with things? Timing. Dave's answer. Wait. They need to stop threatening me with their crimes. And they even said off in the dark, Chris, did no man really talk to her? No, we used truth serum on her. Sodium pentothal is a legal, lethal drug. They say yes to everything. It's considered a lethal injection. In a spy flick movie stuff. They want to say they tried to kill me? To get me to say yes? There's supposed to be a Steve, Eric, Kurt, Chris, and Mark, a Christine, a Henry involved, of people I never met. Some guy said something about a Terrence inside Walmart. About January 19, he jumps out of a shoe aisle, an African-American man. It may not even be him. He didn't show an ID. Okay? He didn't show an ID. You know my name, you know my name. You don't quit praying about everything, I'll make you stand somewhere for 8 hours so you can't pray anymore. I ignored him, he's weird. See what I mean? I never had anybody in my home. They can't go in and set up cameras and watch you because Dave dates the judge's daughter. Matter of fact, that whole police department had to excuse herself and call the FBI. You can't be involved. It's a conflict of interest. And then they stayed out of the shooting night. For that girl in the store at the register, 2 African-American men with dreadlocks, and an old white guy with gray hair and mustache mocking me after the shooting night. Told you, Walmart's successful. I got neurochip 12/21/18 abducted from my home, literally taken from my home, and had illegal surgery done on me without my permission. Within 2 weeks, they'll be back at the TV aisle in Walmart 62 with the phones. We implanted a neurochip. We all can read your thoughts. I thought they were lying. I have a big dent in the back of my skull. Someone stabbed me in the neck at the refrigerator. I was out for 6 hours. Woke up with hair missing and a big dent in my skull. It's a simple surgery. I did research on it. They remove your skull and your skin, and they lay the disc down and expand it out. Just surgically glue it back down. Takes less than an hour. I was out for 6. What the hell did they do to me? Probably need a body scan. And these people are running around like they're trying to get me in trouble. For Dave drugging me, for the church people drugging me, for them photoshopping me, and they weren't allowed in my home, and nobody came talk to me. I called the hotline because Dave said his girlfriend's family was rich and powerful, and their family owned the police. I told him it wasn't a communist country, nobody owned the police, so I called the FBI on him. Called the hotline, then a couple days for Will to call back, and then when I talked to Will, I told you I'd already left Will's number with Sarah at the mall, and that guy's already at Paymers. My God, I had an FBI agent. My office is right there. And I walk off, and Dave and I get in the truck, and he yells at me, "You called the FBI on me?" I'm like, "What did you expect me to do?" And I didn't even call Will back. I was so much horror in my face from people threatening my life and threatening to knife me. I forgot to tell. They checked. They asked told on me. Some asked it. He had to show a badge. They told Walter he works for the prosecutor. None of this was that bad. No. Some of the guys had showed up. We take turns taking care of her when she's out. Okay. And see, when November, 29th, I go to mail that package to the unmarked FBI building. I went in FedEx. Some guy yelled out, her family didn't think anything about her wiping water off with clothes on. Of course not. Their mother did more than I tell them. I didn't expose myself. I'm good. Just consider it adjusting yourself. Then I went to the post office. I went to walk in. Because I couldn't get my body to move when I seen that building. All I could see was rape and torture and that guy claiming he was an agent. And I couldn't move. Well, I went into the post office. Some lady leaned over. "We know after everything you lived through, you couldn't walk in that building. There's a young blonde girl by the door on the phone. I know she knows who I am. I've seen her several times. She's somebody. Okay? She claims. I don't know her. I just remember seeing her. And she said, Will was really old, so we took turns when she was out taking care of her. Or watching her. No, I didn't know they implanted it in her either. They must not have activated it while we were around. I was so upset I walked back out. And I waited for them all to leave, to go back. No, I've never talked to anyone. People leave names of men and women I've never met. I only talked to Will that I was scared. His secretary, I seen the guy, and Dave had a list. And that's it. In the hotline of reporting I was scared, so they'd have Will call me. That's it. Nobody else. And Dave defends me on tape. You're good to the kids, you're good to the grandkids, no matter what. It has to be pretty rotten. She said anything. They interviewed my whole family in several places. Them speaking highly of me, and then they knew I didn't hurt anybody, and they already caught Melissa's kids stating they lied, the real police. And on Thanksgiving of 18, we're making everything up to Flora, including the mean game or pretend to everything. Like John said, they're just gonna make everything up because they're gonna move out.
I told them you're going through a divorce, and that's exactly what they said to Flora in the road, because my house was bugged by Thanksgiving of 18. And they sold the login of all things. Everybody knows they lied. And then I got a whole list of people taping audio knowing they lied. And then other ones knowing that my family was interviewed and I never hurt anyone. And that they spoke highly of me. They've had our Dave said he was going to kill them all. And I was trying to get him caught. And he may have killed that Asian lady's husband. Someone needs to pull the gunshot night apart. There's a video of it around Christmas of 18. In the house, picked them up of how they murdered those people afterwards. They met up outside a bugged house by the real place and how they killed them. I got tortured trying to get her out the next year. And I deserve to know. Told you the 4th of July at Big Lots. They were on the phone in the back by the candles. Well, it's not funny. They said they killed someone outside. Other men are in there. We just need to erase their memories at this point. I'm so upset I lost my credit card. I had to go back in. An Asian lady walks out with 2 little kids. Now, either when I'm going in the first time or the second, Will's going to make it up to us today. Told you some ass is acting like he's Will, and I told you I got him at Home Depot taking little kids out. Will's retired. Someone needs to come help me. It's dirty undercover police, Judge Pete, and some mob lord. And they keep saying some colonel from that army base is involved, and there's bad cars up on that army base, and I never talked to any of them besides, excuse me and thank you for opening the door. A couple of them came up to me at a laundry, asked me whose girlfriend I was. I said, I'm married. I don't have a boyfriend. And they said, what would her husband think I left? So I don't know. I thought they were just joking. That's it. I've never talked to no man, no lady. And nobody had to write my home. And it's not funny. They were drugging me, telling me to say something stupid. And witnesses have come forward that it was Dave, the church people. And then those people photoshopping me and people knowing. They can't look at it before the FBI. It was illegally obtained. It cannot be used. Another lady even already said that. Wait, and the officer in Louisville. Don't you worry about one thing before the FBI. We can't look. We can't listen. Like I'm saying, but they said, I don't care what they say. We can't look or listen. Well, it's illegal to. It's not funny that they were drugging me right after that. And one time I had up to 8 bruises on my legs. They break in and stab me in my sleep, trying to keep me drugged up out of my mind. Some old ass up there came up to me. For every idle word you tell on us, I'll turn it on you. You tell on us. I'll even list you a dirty word. I thought, you can't list me a dirty word. I'm not a dirty word. They already caught those kids lying. They interviewed my whole family and they spoke highly of me. You can't do that. No, we can't. They're all part of it. It's an extortionary ring. We're not like Wardo. Somebody needs to come down and fix this before they hurt anybody else. I'll tell you what, some old women walk by my apartment. We'll get everything we want out of her when we're done with her. I've never met them. Oh. I'm like, who are you? I come into my new client's apartment, there's some men in the basement. It's ridiculous. They drugged her and told her to say it, and they want her to confess to it. It's like, oh, it is ridiculous. My one neighbor got roofied in a bar. He quit going to the bars for about 5 months. He didn't know how he got home. He didn't know how to go into the ATM. He didn't know what he ate, and he didn't know how he changed his shoes. They let him watch the video and audio of him in a bar. He told everybody he was an astronaut. Acting crazy. He drove like that. He has no memory. He remembers drinking the second beer, and that's it. Somebody roofied him. And he had no idea. He'd been out driving like that. That's scary. I gotta get off here. Somebody needs to show up. None of this is funny. And I'm tired of them threatening me with their crimes against me. It comes down to lost states. Illegal surveillance is always thrown out and cannot be looked at. Lost states, you can't drug somebody for a confession. Lost states, you can't be involved in anything with a conflict of interest. Lost states. None of this is legal. You can't. I mean, I can keep going on and on and on and on. It takes you a hot moment to Google it. These people are